Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where, you know, we wanted to be there to be supportive, and we did. And by the time we left, my mom was in such a better mood. She was much happier. And that's all I can ask for, man, is just being able to say that we did something good for somebody else, even though it's family. You know, people think that,
that doesn't matter, though, man. Like, it was, you guys going there was more helpful than you probably even realize, or what your mom even has said out loud. You know, that, and it's hard to get to be able to do that. You guys live halfway across the country, you know, so it's not like you get to do that all the time. And this was unexpected and unplanned, but I can tell you, your mom really appreciates it, and your dad really appreciets that. You guys were able to be there.
Man. It's definitely, it was a bit of a interesting week, but hey, you know, we had some good times in there. We got to see some family. I saw
some fun photos still, though. Like, you guys were able to make it fun.
Yeah, we made it good.
It's not all doom and gloom.
No, it wasn't, and it was nice to, you know, I got to take my barbecue skills to California with me and show my dad what it's like to have it. Well, they had brisket with us before, but like cooking it on his grill at his house, and it's like, hey, now you get to have the you know, the food right there on your counter instead of at somebody else's house. I'm sure it's a different feel, but
I think you're going to need to talk a little bit more about barbecue on this little podcast. Just FYI.
I might. We might do a barbecue segment at some point, but anyways, so don't want to go too far into the weeds here, because we do have a special guest and we want to give him the spotlight. And we have, like I said, another Josh here. We have Josh Thurman. Josh, do you prefer Josh or JD? What's your?
I was just doing that on the chat to separate you two guys.
I'll be perfectly
both of you
honest. To be fully transparent, I have been called worse, so I don't really care.
That is so true.
Talking about brisket, Josh, where do you live again?
I am in West Fargo, North Dakota.
You know, Kyle is 4.5 hours from me, and then to Fargo, North Dakota. Fargo, eh?
Fargo. You betcha.
Yeah, you betcha, yeah. So I'm thinking road trip, Kyle. What are you thinking?
I'm down for that, as long as he cooks for us.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. You know,
his wife might have something to say about that, though. It's like, get out of here, guys.
The idea of us leaving would probably prompt them to say, hey, you know, take the nicer car, and do you want gas money too? You know, can I get some snacks at the gas station? What do you need? Just go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, you know, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I've actually had a chance to catch up on the previous episodes. I was lucky enough to see the last episode, and I was cracking up the entire time. And I don't know how well anybody can see this, but
is that the hockey stick into the back of the head?
Well, I didn't catch that, but it's him. He's kind of like halfway hiding behind something, just laughing his head off.
Oh yeah.
And your son's 3, right?
He's 3. Yeah, he just turned 3.
3, right?
Boy,
so
he is so hard. He's so different than our first.
You know, and as they get older, it does not get any easier. And I have 3, so some would say I'm kind of a lunatic. But anyway, so, you know, yeah. So, you know, like I said, I appreciate you guys bringing me on here. You know, chat about what it's like to grow a business and be a dad at the same time, and hopefully be able to pull that off where we're instilling in our kids value of, you know, hard work, the value of, you know, building something, you know, with our own 2 hands, whether that's, you know, physically or mentally, whatever the case may be. I feel as technology and the internet, and especially, you know, using the internet to build a business is putting our generations in a huge advantage over like our parents' generation, for example. You know, there's so many things that we can do, that we have access to, that we're able to do, that our parents just were not able to do. And
look at what we're doing right now.
Right.
You're up near Chicago, Fargo, North Fargo. North Dakota, wherever the heck you're from, Josh.
There you go, E. Yeah.
And
You
I'm
just
down
go
in St. Louis.
in north, you know?
And,
Oh,
and
yeah,
none
you
of us-
betcha.
And none of us had ever, we've never actually physically met, either of us.
No.
Nope.
No. And, the crazy thing about that, too, I actually, so I have a YouTube channel as well. I actually just started it. I had set up the channel a few years ago and just never did anything with it. And
you gotta tell your first YouTube venture story though.
Oh, okay. All right. So, so in 2015, I decided that all of the sexiness was just too much and I had to lose some of it. It was unfair to other folks. So I decided to go on a weight loss journey. And I've struggled with my weight since I was a late teenager. And I had this epiphany actually. And I was like, you know what? I know that I'll stick with something if I force myself to be accountable. So I decided that I will do a YouTube channel and I will do that as an accountability thing to myself. Weight up or weight down every single Saturday. I will do a weigh-in video. And I actually started it. I started the first video I did. I actually took my shirt off at 276 pounds. And I'm 5'7", so I'm a midget in like 38 states. And I said, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm gonna bear it all. I'm gonna take off the shirt and I'm gonna force myself to be held accountable. And I lost 60 pounds in like 6 or 7 months. I've kept most of that off, and some stressors, life and whatnot. I haven't been behaving myself, but anyways. And I had some accidental success with that channel. I actually have one video that's got 66,000 views. I have about a half a dozen.
Wild.
I have about half a dozen that have about 5,000 views, and most of them are floating around, 300 to 500 views. As I stopped being consistent, of course, the viewership loses interest, and they kind of go somewhere else. And guys, I am not the most entertaining person. I'm kind of dry. I think I'm kind of boring. I try to inject humor.
I would beg to differ on that.
Well,
Yeah, like from what I've seen, man,
okay.
You've got a level of humor and maybe that's just us because Kyle and I kind of share your type of humor, but at the same time, like I watched some of your videos and I immediately was like, all right, like I gotta get to know this dude more because like the way that you talk, it's like you have that good radio voice.
Oh,
and
well,
then
thank you.
at the same time, you have like just the little quips in there that you like. I guess I could see where you see it's dry, but yeah, I don't know. I find it entertaining.
No, it's fun.
A different personality, perhaps. So I have a voice for radio and the chiseled jawline for Hollywood movies.
See,
Great comedy.
there you go.
And the fact that my name is Josh, I mean, it's like the trifecta. It's a triple threat. What are you going to do?
Oh yeah.
So basically, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to kind of recreate that accidental success the right way. So I've been pouring a good amount of time in some content. I'm pouring a good amount of time into actually learning how to do this, and surprisingly, it's a little more difficult than I was expecting. I kind of hoped that maybe I could get lucky again. I'm getting some views. You guys care if I share my screen real quick?
Go for it, man.
Not at all.
Stage is yours, buddy.
Josh, you need to use vidIQ to help you with some of that stuff. I don't know if you're using that or not. It's an extension.
Well, I have to learn how to use that first. Yeah, I have it. Just learn how to use it.
Yeah.
All right, can you see my screen?
Not yet. No, there we go.
Okay, so my birthday was August the 15th. That's when I kind of got serious about it. So you can see over in the far left, I have 0 views. Started posting. I mean, I started getting views on the very first day. My channel trailer had 6 views the very first day I uploaded. I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I need to go back through and see what video this was and see what I don't know how you can see that, but I shared a proof video, $250 proof video that got 30 views in one day. So knowing that that's in our space, at least, that's what people want to see. I need to use that. I need to, part of part of the success on the YouTube channel was figuring out what does the audience want to see, right?
Yeah.
And obviously on the weight loss channel, they want to know if I lost weight. So the other stuff was just kind of filler to kind of bring people to the channel. So I guess I bring that up to know, like, you know, whether you're building an affiliate business like Kyle, or you're building a, you know, a more traditional network marketing type business like Josh, you need to figure out who is your audience, what is your audience's pain and problems, and offer up a solution for them. And if you can do that, everything else becomes pretty easy. And then you just add a little fuel to the fire, you amplify it, people start signing up on a regular basis. You coach them through what it takes, what they need to do next. They start seeing success, you start seeing success. This industry, you know, I've been in and around this industry for my entire adult life. And you know, I got started with the big Amway way back in the day. I think before Kyle was even born, because he's like 14 or something. But that was my first glimpse into this industry, and I immediately fell in love because I wrote something down when you guys were doing your intro. I'd like to share it, and then I'm going to shut up for a while. One of the things that people think that they talk about, that I keep hearing all the time, is about how do we create balance, especially as working fathers or working mothers, for that matter, that might be watching. How do you create balance between your business life and your family life? And to which I would ask, how do you create balance between your job and your family life? You don't. So balance is not something that exists, at least for a season. You just have to decide whether or not it's worth making the sacrifice to be so far out of balance for a while, right? Maybe, you know, a season is what we call it, but, you know, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 5 years. I don't know. But you have to be okay with being so far out of balance that then you have the ability to really turn the tide the other way, right? I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is feeling like they're neglecting certain things in their life. To which I would say, if you have a job, if you have a regular job, are you sacrificing things that you want to do for that job? And the answer is yes. We all are. I guarantee it. You know, Josh just had to go to California, you know, to see some family after loss of a loved one. Several years ago, my nephew got cancer. I could not spend as much time with him as I wanted, and it gutted me. But had I been full-time in a business, whether it was affiliate marketing or network marketing or, you know, whatever it is, I would have had the freedom, right? So that's really why we need to understand that balance doesn't exist, or force yourself, be willing to sacrifice a time, a season, to create that later, right? My thought and what I wrote down was, you're gonna make the sacrifice one way or another against time with your family. But why not build the chance for balance later? Why not build the chance for freedom as opposed to more bondage?
Dude, that's so powerful. And honestly, that's something that I wish that more people would think about at a deeper level, right? Like, you know, one of the things that I struggled with right away, you know, I started, and people know our story for Kyle and I, but just to recap, you know, I had my first network marketing endeavor back in 2005, and I was selling meat door to door across the entire states of North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota. And the thing is that I was sacrificing time because I thought that was going to be what was going to give me my freedom back. So that way I could build a team and I could have a team of drivers that go out and do this for me. And I just sit back in the office all day, or sit back at home, you know, the office be my house, and, you know, go into the office in the morning to shoo everybody off, and then go back home and spend it with my family and whatever. At the time, I didn't have any kids or anything like that, but that was the dream. And then society tells you that, well, no, that's not the way you should live your life. You should go get a job and, get a retirement and work for 40 years and then retire and then live your life once you're retired. And I think that, like, Bridget just made a good point here. And she said, it's what you find value in, focus on what's important: knowledge, curiosity, new skills, the journey. Like, is that a sacrifice, or driving in and enjoying the work? Like, it's those things of what's important in your life and what are you willing to do to make that the number one thing in your life.
Well, and that's not going to be the same for everybody either.
No, it's not.
Everybody
Right.
has different dreams, different goals, different drive, different needs. So what your two's vision of that is different than mine.
Right. And that's the thing that's, I think, is super important. I'm glad that you brought that up, Josh, because the thing is that people don't think about like what they're sacrificing already. But then when they look at a new opportunity and they think about what they have to sacrifice, which generally is time, because if you're working a full-time job, and there's no question, Kyle and I have both said it on the podcast before, we both still work day jobs. We still work full-time. But the thing is that we looked at this and said, okay, is it worth sacrificing my free time to build a business so that way later on I can have more free time? Or am I just doing this as a hobby?
That's exactly what it is. I mean, I think I've told this story before, but there was a question out there in the Facebook universe, and they're like, what are you working for, time or money? Well, you work for money first, so you can get the time. You don't get the time without the money. You don't.
Right.
So there's a front-loaded sacrifice to get there, and then as
One of
you
my,
build that time, you're able to keep it going.
One of my favorite quotes of all time, I don't know if you guys know who Henry Rollins is. Again, I'm probably showing my age here. He was like in an old, like really heavy punk band back in the day, but just a really, really brilliant guy. He said that there's no such thing as spare time. There's no such thing as free time. There's no such thing as downtime. All you have is lifetime. So, instead, here's what cracks me up the most, I guess. It's that people do have time for what's important to them, right? The statistics say the average person spends 5 hours a day on their phone, which is insane to me because 95% of those people are doing nothing to make money with it. But I think I spend maybe an hour or two a day on mine, and I consistently make sales on a weekly basis because of my phone. And it's not because I have a cape that and I'm a superhero or nothing. It's just that I choose to, instead of, marathoning the last, series on Netflix, or instead of, figuring out what's Carol Baskin going to do on Dancing with the Stars tonight, because I don't care about those things that do, look, we all know what she did to her husband. Okay. Anyways, I never saw this because I'm not going to waste my time.
Oh my gosh.
I don't need to watch 99% of these shows because I'm going to get the highlight reel from social media, right? That the internet is going to tell us the highlight reel because that's all social media is. Most people are not willing to be real and transparent like you guys and say, hey, look, and like me, and to say, hey, look, you can work hard at your job, or you can work hard at this. Which one do you think is going to pay the better dividends long term, right? Because I think everybody who watches this, if they're honest with themselves and they're real, is going to say, you know what, whether you're 25, 35, or 65, you're going to look back and go, you know what, I've had some jobs I really didn't like. I've had some jobs that really crapped on my social life. I've had some jobs that have just gutted me spiritually. I've had some jobs that have really just, threw a monkey wrench in my overall plan. We've probably all been in a position where we were sold something at the interview, and what actually transpired was pretty much a polar opposite. So my point is, you're going to struggle in life. Okay. Life is not easy. Okay. I'm never going to tell anybody that it is, but you get to choose your hard. Right. Yep. And anything worth having is worth working hard for. Anything worth having is worth struggling over until you get it figured out. Anything worth having is worth rolling up your sleeves and getting dirty if that's what it takes. And so people need to understand that the vast majority of people just aren't ready.
Yep.
That's what it really comes down to. They're not ready to be unplugged from the norm, unplugged from the matrix, if you will.
Oh yeah, that's such a great analogy.
Yeah, and that movie is a great analogy for what we do, because the average person is average for a reason, because they do average things. They do things that are not extraordinary.
Well, they're stuck in their same little circle, right? Like they're not injecting new information to get a new result. If you're same information, same action, same result, it's a circle.
Yep.
Right? You
And
got to
same
in order to,
same 5 people.
yeah.
They spend, they spend 85% of their time outside of their home with the same 5 people. And if those 5 people are, bad people,
unambitious
people. Yeah, unambitious people. Then you're in a world of hurt, And what's really funny is, like you said, Kyle and I are 4.5 hours apart, and Josh and I are like 8 hours apart. We've never met in the real world. And what's crazy is some of my best relationships have been forged in this industry with people I've never met. I actually have a guy that joined my team like 3 years ago, and he never did anything. We just kind of bounced back and forth ideas off each other, did some different side projects together, this and that. And he actually ended up moving closer to where I was, and I'm like, all right, so we got to meet. And I think I mentioned that in fact, I know I did. I shot a video about the best dang burrito spot in the Chicago suburbs, and that's where I actually went and met him. And it was so refreshing to meet some of these people in person. And when this virus stuff blows over, I'm really looking forward to getting out to events again and living life again and traveling again. And not that I do a ton of it because of the, not because of the 3 kids, but obviously getting 3 kids on an airplane is a journey.
Challenge.
So
it's a challenge.
Yes.
I like how you put it, Josh. You said it's a journey. It really is. And when we have 2 kids, and I'll tell you, I have yet to even take that leap, because I look at it and go, I know how much of a pain it is for adults to get through like security and stuff, which I will say this. So we just flew on a plane to California, and it took me back to when I was 14 and flying back and forth between California and North Dakota for my dad. And, because my dad lived up here and my mom still lived in California. And I remember at that point in time, it was easy. You walked in, they asked you if you had anything dangerous in your bag. You said no, you walked right through. And then, stuff happened in the country and things got more strict. And then this, last week, Katie and I are flying out, and we're like, we pull up and they're like, hey, don't even do anything. Just show us your ID. Don't give us your boarding pass. Don't touch anything. Just show us your ID. Pull down your mask to verify it's you. Walk through. And then you go through security, and they're like zipping people through. You go in the scanner, and normally they're like, they scan you and you need, like, they pat you down. Nope. They're like, scan, go. And it just blew my mind that we've gotten back to a point where it seems to be easier. But then, like you said, when this all blows over and traveling becomes back to the, somewhat to a norm, it's going to go back to being just as challenging. It's going to go back to people being more scrutinous again. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more policies in place, but you're right. I mean, it's a journey no matter how we do it, whether you drive, whether you fly. Doing anything with kids is unpredictable. And but I wanted to, you talk about having 3 kids and stuff like that. And I know we got right into the marketing talk, but I wanted just to learn a little bit about you, Josh, and just, who you are. And so give us just a quick, bio of like who you are, where you came from, give us a little, tidbit about your family, and, let us learn about you.
Sure. Wow. So
it's always fun to talk about yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, especially on the spot where you haven't really planned it out. So there was this one night back
Go.
in 1978 that my parents, you know.
Yeah.
No, but a funny thing.
When two people love each other. No.
Right. People love each other, and yeah. No, the funny thing is, like, my mom and my wife love to get together and joke about this. My mother's labor was extremely fast with me, and my wife says that's because I'm the most impatient person that she's ever met. But yet somehow that's an endearing quality, she said. I don't know how that works, and I think I'm pretty patient with some things and not so patient with other things. But yeah, so basically, I've been in and around the work from home, the make money online space since, more so the work from home space since about 1997. And shortly after graduating high school, you know, I didn't do real fantastic in high school. Didn't really care to be there. I felt that it was more of a social thing to be there than actually something I needed to move on with my life. And so I am a proud college dropout. I did go because society tells you you're supposed to go. And I decided to drop out because at the time I was making more money than my sister, who already had her bachelor's. And I didn't really like night classes, so I dropped out. Fast forward, you know, it's not always been easy. I've gone through several jobs because I don't know when to keep my mouth shut when I see things that are not quite right. And always just in the back of my mind, I always just had this idea that my purpose is something more than my vision for where my life needs to be is something bigger than what I currently had. And that has been the single driving factor, you know, over the last 20 so years. And I've had some ups, I've had some downs, you know, I've always learned or I've earned. And so there's nothing I would trade. There's nothing I would give up during that process. And it's really given me the opportunity to figure out what parts of this industry I love, as were other ones I don't really care for, so that I can focus on what I enjoy doing and, you know, just ignore the rest, I guess. And, you know, as you start to build your business, you'll start to see that there's systems and there's tools, there's different things that you can leverage, like SteamYard here. You know, you can do live streams with people all over the country or all over the world, where you can get to know them, or you can, you know, provide some training, or you can do some different things. And the idea that Kyle and I are in an affiliate business. It's a higher ticket affiliate business. And the idea that someone would come across me and see me as somebody that can help them is not something I take lightly. And to be willing to give me money in exchange for what I know or what I can share with them, what I can help them with is a feeling that I can't quite describe. And more than just like paying the bills, because we all got bills. We all got to pay our bills. You know, we all got a mortgage to pay, cell phone bill, car payment, you know, life insurance. As dad, you better have life insurance. You know, but yeah, just, you know, I've done the traditional business thing before as well. And, you know, I used to co-own an insurance agency. I've done a lot over my short 42 years. And some might say that's a little bit of like entrepreneurial ADD, perhaps. But if you know anybody who has ADD, then this industry is definitely for you. Because if you have that, what you'll find is once you find your zone of genius, right? Once you find something that your heart and your head and your gut are all aligned with, you'll pour so much time into it, and you'll come up from the computer and be like, oh, wow, I just spent 10 hours doing that.
Yeah, and none of that feels like work.
Right. I'm wide awake. I'm energized. I feel fantastic. You know, sadly, whether I got something accomplished actually or not, I still feel energized and I feel good. And that's okay.
That's such the truth too. You're like set out to do like your daily task, and you end up in this little side shoot, and then you come up for air, and you're like, "Oh man, I learned a lot there, but I still didn't do anything."
Piece of candy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's candy.
My wife and I always use the squirrel moment. You're like,
Yep.
you're working. You're like, okay, got to get it, squirrel.
Yeah.
100%.
And for me, it's just as bad because I've got multiple screens, and so I've learned I have to like minimize windows on one screen if I don't want to do that thing, because something will move. Like Messenger, Messenger's always open for me, and I have to minimize it if I want to get work done, because someone bugs me on Messenger and it moves, and I'm like, boop, and it's just like it's instant. Like it's just that moment that you're like, oh, something shiny. And then you get into a 30-minute conversation with somebody and you go back and you're like, oh, yeah, I was doing that thing. And then you start working and then something over here goes and you're like, boop. Oh, yep, didn't do that. Okay. Oh, there went another hour.
Yeah. So totally, possibly an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to share it anyway. When I was in the insurance industry, I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Yep.
And there was one thing that stood out to me that I still do to this day. Actually, really irritated my business partners that I did this, but I'm an irritating guy sometimes. So he said that you need to check your email twice a day, maximum, at a certain time. Put an autoresponder on there that says, hey, this is when I check it, et cetera, et cetera. So with my insurance agency, we had support staff in place. The whole reason we were paying an office manager and the whole reason we were paying a customer service person was to field those calls, right? Because as an insurance agent, do you make money servicing the policy or selling the policy? Selling the policy, right? And so I was putting systems in place even way back then where basically, let's say 10 people called in. At the end of the day, right before our customer service or our office manager was leaving, she would send me an email that was a Google spreadsheet, and it would say, hey, Josh, these people called for you. Hey, Tom, these people called for you. Hey, Bryce, these people called for you. And what I would do, and I think that my business partners did as well, was I would just shoot them a quick text or shoot them a quick email that just says, hey, it looks like you called in. Sorry, I was helping another customer. Looks like Brittany got everything figured out for you. Let me know if there's anything else you need. Appreciate your business day. Something along those lines, right? So that way I kept that personal connection, but I wasn't, I don't want to say wasting time, but I wasn't spending the time on non-income producing activities. So I do the same thing with my business now. I've done this ever since, I think I read that in like 2010. Basically, my messenger gets checked in the morning and it gets checked in the evening. Same thing with my email. I check it in the morning, I check it in the evening. And the unpopular opinion with this is going to be that if someone reaches out to me during the times where I'm not on Messenger or I'm not checking my email and they need something that fast and I don't respond to them quickly enough and they get upset and go somewhere else, some people go, oh man, I lost a sale.
You didn't want to work with that person anyway.
Exactly. No, I say, whew, man, bullet on that guy, because you know what? It doesn't matter if it's $25 commission or $2,500 commission. If that person doesn't have the patience to wait until I'm ready to help them, they're going to be way too much of a handful, And the same thing with, go ahead, Kyle.
You got to manage your time or your time manages you. And I know for me, that is 100% a problem for me. And I need to adopt more of what you're talking about. Like it's always been a problem for me to be able to not squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. And so I actually probably should read that book. I wouldn't say I'm the person that's like, you just read. Leaders are readers. And the part of the reason with that is like you can read all the books in the world, but if you don't apply the knowledge that's in them, it doesn't really matter. That's true. I think that for me, I really enjoy reading business books, but if I'm just reading it because I'm like, oh, I said I was going to read a chapter today, it loses something. So I've moved from absorbing information, right? Absorbing to now I'm looking to fix specific problems. Yeah, what you value, the value of your time. Absolutely, Bridget. She's been on this thing the whole time. Bridget, thank you. I want to thank you. You know, it's,
Yeah.
it's nice
Yeah,
to see
thank you,
Bridget
Bridget.
with us other
Bridget,
than the
honestly,
three of us.
I want to give a quick shout out to Bridget because she is probably the one of the most consistent people that we've had on this podcast, and she's always there. She's always engaging, and I love it because she talks about, like, she made a comment on here that when I was talking about the plane with the kids, and she's like, just do it, get over it. And then she mentioned, I'm that security. We're still scrutinizing, but the system is just more seamless for you. And it's like, it's cool because she's in the, she's in the mix of it. And, it's cool to see that. And it's cool that people are enjoying what we're doing, and it's because we're not doing it for us. Honestly, like, if we were doing it for us, we'd have quit after the first episode. Be like, this is way too much. Like no way.
Yeah,
but
my kids were, that was worth quitting all on its own.
Yeah, get your camera pulled down and everything. It was wicked.
Yeah, Josh, I guess you went back and you watched it probably, but the camera just goes crashing down in the first episode because I'm wearing these things and my phone is my camera.
You yanked it?
Yeah, and my kid just yanked it down.
You need a sweet setup like I have.
You guys both have sweet setups, but I'm just not there yet.
If you saw my setup from my point of view, you would just be laughing. Seriously. So my laptop is up on a platform.
Yeah.
It is an old stool. It's a pink stool that was my daughter's when they couldn't reach the sink to brush their teeth.
I know exactly what that looks like.
Yep. And my really amazing desk is an old kitchen table that she's like, well, what do you want to do with it? My wife's like, what do you want to do with it? It was a gift from her parents when we got married. And I said, well, I don't want to get rid of it because a desk is a desk. And this is just paneling from Home Depot for $20, but it works.
Nice.
And then
it looks great.
Do you notice my light here? See how that's red?
Yeah.
What you got? Is it a lava lamp? Oh,
it's just an old crappy lamp and a red light bulb, which I think I just kind of messed up. I'll have to fix that later. Thanks a lot. And my overhead lights over here are just like those drop lights.
Yeah,
they're plastic drop lights with really nice LED bulbs in it. I mean,
it looks great. It looks like you're sitting in front of a ring light. So
yeah,
your lighting's good.
Yeah, no, you're like I'm probably the one then that can't really talk because
you got the real deal over there with your boom mic and your
I've got my Yeti mic over
pop
here.
Filter even.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, so the pop filter for me was, people are like, oh, you use the pop filter because you're talking into your mic. And I said, no, my mic is off to the side. What a lot of people don't realize is pop filters actually help with echo. And when you're talking into the direction that the mic is picking up your voice, it helps with preventing echo as well. And a lot of people will say like, oh no, that's just a wives' tale. It doesn't do any of that because it picks up all the sound around it. And it's like, no, these mics, like good mics, you can actually have the direction of where you get the sound from. And you've got the snowball, dude.
Yeah, I use that for like voiceover videos. Really, I don't do it for like Zooms or anything like that because I cannot hear enough. I think I'm going deaf or something.
Oh,
but,
sure.
The sound.
The
sound quality out of this cheap $50 mic is insanely good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, these the Yetis here, they're a little more. I think they're like $80, $100 or whatever, but they're still, if you look at a lot of the mics that are out there that people are buying that are $300, $400, $500, $600 mics. And honestly, it's not necessary. The whole setup I have, the most expensive piece of my setup is my monitors. But the thing is because of the day job that I have and the fact that I'm working from home permanently right now for the foreseeable future, this was a decision for me to have a nice at-home desk for my day job because I'm a tech guy. I do tech support. So I need the multiple screens. I need all this. And I, pieced it together little by little So it wasn't like I just went out and was like, boom, I got this whole cool setup. It was like, okay, I had one monitor and my laptop.
And one day you tell your wife, you're like, look, I need a studio over here.
I dropped $5,000 on this studio.
Actually, I got it's Joe Rogan's old studio stuff, so it's just, it's perfect.
Yeah,
well, it's used then. And some of the magic is still there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I think I got about $100 in my studio, and I shot a couple videos about that. I need to finish the third one. I just haven't done it yet, because I think that a lot of what scares people off from doing video, which if anyone's watching this and you're not doing video, I don't care how scared you are. I don't care what your setup looks like. Just do it. Start conversing with your audience, even if your audience is one person, because people join people. They don't, as much as we love to say, hey, I got this system and this funnel and all this and that. They're going to go through that to learn about your product or your service offering. But I promise you, they're going to go, okay, who is this good looking Kyle fella with the golf hat? I need to know more about him before I give him any money. Right? Who is this stunningly handsome Josh fella? You can decide whichever one of it is I'm talking about right now. And before I join his business, I got to know more about him. I got to know, how does he get such a majestic beard? I got to know where did he find this? Because it looks good. They're going to seek you out. They're going to look for you. They're going to find you one way or another. And if you're shooting video on a regular basis, even if you're not trying to rank video, even if you're not trying to, do like a video sales letter yourself, they need to know that you're real, that you're approachable, that you're just you're a normal guy who knows some things they don't yet know, and that you're the person that can help them.
Yeah. Everything drives back, man, to know, like, and trust.
Yes. Well, and a little beyond like know, like, and trust, what the prospect is really thinking, and this is any business, right? Is it for real? Can I do it? Will you help me? Right? And the degree of will you help me kind of depends on product offering, obviously, and your your knowledge and so on and so forth. But most of what people's fear is in joining a business is, what do I do, right? What do I do next? How do I move the needle forward so I'm not wasting the time? Because if I'm wasting the time, I might as well just watch, Dancing with the Stars with Carol Baskin.
Full circle.
Yeah. That's called the open feedback loop, I believe, is what Russell Brunson calls that, right?
Yep, the open feedback loop.
It just takes me 4 hours to get there because
Well, that's awesome, and dude, you're so on point with all that, and like that's one of the reasons why when Kyle was telling me about you, I was like, dude, we got to have him on our call. We got to have him on here, because the big thing with this is that your experience, just the time that you've had, and the things that you've gone through, like, and not to call you old, but I mean, you've got more gray going on than we do. So let's just stay with
Hey man, I got a lot of gray going on up there. Don't worry about it.
Those are blonde. Those are blonde.
You see that? That is not blonde, pal.
No, I'm saying me. This is blonde.
Oh, you. Yes.
Oh, blonde. Yes. Okay. I'll give it to you.
I'll give you your blonde.
But the thing is like there's so much value to having people in your circle. Like you talked about the 5 people, right? Mm-hmm. And there's two things that I believe about that. Number one, Jim Rohn is a great, hero of mine. He's got a lot of great mindset, and he's just the things that he talked about when he was around. Like, dude, it's just amazing. If I could just get into his brain, right, and just hear what he was thinking at times. But that 5 people, I have people in my personal life that I like to be around, and actually when we're done with this, I just got a notification on my phone that my grill is telling me, hey, your brisket's ready to move over. So we're gonna be finishing up here real quick, but on
my way.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Doors open, buddy. But yeah, like we have people coming over that are some of our closest friends, and we have friends that we stay close with. And the biggest misconception I think that people have is that when they get into marketing or they get into a different type of business, that they have to like wipe away their entire life and start fresh. And it's like, no, you don't. But what you're going to find is you're going to find that the people you hang around, if you hang around negativity, you hang around people that aren't ambitious and people that aren't doing something with their lives, you're going to start acting like them. You're going to start thinking like them. You're going to start feeling like them. And
those people are going to really push back on what you're doing.
Right.
Like, oh, that's a scam or whatever. Why are you wasting your time? Or whatever it may be.
Right. And so the last question I have for you, Josh, and I think I pretty much already know the answer, what it's going to be, but if you had one thing that you would tell anybody who's kind of, on the fence, or they've been looking at somebody and they're not really sure to talk to them about an opportunity, or maybe they're trying to get into the marketing world and they don't really know what to do, like what is your, like the number one thing you would tell them about, what we do and what they should think about in terms of if they're going to get into it, or like, just how does somebody just get past that roadblock, that paper brick wall, to just push themselves into doing something good for themselves?
Boy, that's a tough question, actually, because here's the thing. This has been my experience, and so I can only speak from my experience.
For sure.
There is nothing that any of us can say. There's nothing that any guru, any mentor, any, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, cousin, neighbor's hairdresser, dog walker can tell you that is going to push you over the edge to start something to better your life. Absolutely nothing. You have to be ready. You have to be the person that has already made a decision. You've drawn your line in the sand and you've said enough is enough. And this is true of joining a business. This is true of deciding it's time to lose weight. This is true of deciding that your relationship with your significant other sucks and you want that to improve. Your relationship with your kids, you want that to improve. Whether you're going to be better at doing anything in life, the decision has to come 100% from you. There's nothing that anyone else can say that will prompt you or push you over. You cannot sell people into something that they're not going to do. I mean, there's persuasive people out there that maybe can do it, but that's never been me. A man convinced against his will is of the opinion still. I don't know who quoted that, but it is stuck in my head and I couldn't get it out even if I wanted to, and I don't want to. So to say, like, what would I say to this person? Do some soul searching. Figure out where you are right now, okay? Are you where you want to be? Whether it's time freedom, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's, whatever it is. What are you trying to accomplish? Is what you've been doing pushing you towards that goal or pushing you away from that goal? Are you going to get what you want doing the same thing you've been doing? My guess is no, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here hearing this, right? If you are looking for something that is going to get you where you want to be, you're going to have to step out on faith, and you're going to have to do something different than what you've been doing, right? We all know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So if your result is that you want to spend more time with your family eventually, because we already said this isn't get rich quick. You're not into something today and tomorrow you're like, woohoo, all my money problems are solved and I'm spending 24/7 with my family. Yay. No. But working a job is hard. Starting and running a business is hard. Choose which one is worth your hard. I hate to use the word frustration, but which one is worth your frustration? Because nobody here is Paris Hilton, right? Nobody here is just independently wealthy and doesn't have to do anything. But what's interesting about her is you'll notice she's just not sitting back on the money. She's still something. Kardashians are the same way. They don't have to work a day in their life, but they're still out there producing content, which is selling things to different people. And, not to say that I look up to either one of those, examples, but if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone and you're not willing to do something that will grow you as a person and grow your income, then this probably isn't for you. But if you've already drawn your line in the sand and you said, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, hashtag Grant Cardone, and I'm going to make things happen, right? And I'm going to roll up my sleeves and I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to listen to, my mentors. I'm going to listen to guys like, Kyle and Josh, and I'm just going to do it, right? Like Shia LaBeouf says, just do it, man. Don't let your dreams be dreams. If that's the decision you've made, right? If that's the decision you've made, then just rip the Band-Aid off and do it, right? And don't worry about the money. Money comes and goes.
Just start.
Just start. Yeah. And the only other thing I would say is make a commitment, right? And once you make the commitment and you join like the right thing, you're gonna get a roadmap. All of the right businesses have the component of having the roadmap, right? And then it's just up to you to follow said roadmap. Okay. Does it mean it's going to be easy? No. Does it mean it's going to be, lightning in a bottle? No. But the reason it's there is because it works. Okay. And, I can say that. I don't even know what Josh's business is. I don't even know what the name of his company he's representing is, but I know that he's smart enough to know that if it's something that he's hitching his wagon to and he's getting, spending time away from his family to build, then that's a system that has legs to run, right? Kyle and I are doing the same offer. I know what we have has legs to run, but it doesn't mean that everybody is willing to put their jogging suit on and head out to the track every single morning to do the run.
And you got to remember too, it doesn't start off with a bang.
No.
99.9% of the times, it doesn't start off that quick. You have to put consistent action in every single day, and then that creates a compounding effect.
Right.
Absolutely.
To results.
Absolutely. The guy on the top of the mountain, he didn't land there.
No,
he put in a ton of effort to get there. Nobody wakes up, I wouldn't say nobody, because again, Paris Hilton or whatever, nobody wakes up and they're a millionaire, right? But nobody in the real world, right? Nobody in what is the real world for regular folks like us is going to just one day wake up and have it all figured out. So you have to be willing to learn some skills you don't currently possess. You have to be willing to put in the time and effort to learn those skills. And you have to be willing to put in the time and effort to transfer those skills to other people. Because at the end of the day, systems, products, services, they're all exchange of an idea, right? The idea that there is a better way. At the end of the day, that's it, okay? So if you're 25 or you're 35, you're 45, 55, 65, or 75, and you have determined like what I've been doing is not working, and I've been doing it for however many years, and I have to find something else. Make that decision, find something else, do something else, whatever that something else is, so that you can work towards figuring out and getting what you actually want in life.
Dude, like truth bomb right there. Not even kidding. I mean, and when I said that I kind of know what your answer is going to be, that's exactly what I expected, honestly. And because that's why I'm so glad that we had you on here, because that's the kind of mindset of somebody who, like, the no excuses type mindset, like not making excuses of like, oh, it's too hard, or oh, I can't do it, or oh, there's going to be, you're going to go through hardships. You're going to go through rough times. You're going to have those situations that come up that you're like, man, like I want to go do this thing, but I also got to do this business thing too. And you're going to have to make a decision, and nobody's going to make that decision for you.
Nope.
And I like the point that you made is you're like, find out what you're passionate about, find out your purpose, find out, like, do some soul searching and figure out, like, what is it that you want to do. And there's a leader in our business, for Katie and myself. Katie's my wife, and there's a leader that, they were up on stage, and we were at this conference, and they were up on stage, and they went up, and this guy's like in his 60s or 70s. And they said, why aren't you retired yet? Like, why are you still doing this business? Why are you still here with all these young people, yet you have a lifestyle that you could just basically you could stop doing what you're doing and just live your life. Mm-hmm. And everybody always, like, there was other people that gave answers of, like, why they do the business. And he walked up and he grabbed the mic and he looks in it and he kind of waits for me and he goes, one word: purpose. And that hit me so hard, because it's like someone who's in a later part of his life that could easily just stop doing what he's doing and live the rest of his life comfortably, like very comfortably. Yeah. And he still puts in the effort because of purpose, because his purpose is that he wants to help more people change the trajectory of their life to be able to do the things that they want to do. And that's really why we're all here. I mean, I don't build a business because I think that it's fun to spend almost every evening, minus Sundays. Sundays are usually my try not to have any calls or anything as much as possible, because that's family day. But like every other day, it's like almost every evening I'm in front of my computer here building my business. I'm talking to my team. I'm helping them out. I am talking to new people. But when I'm away, I'm spending time with my family. And during the day, I'm spending time working my job. And the thing is that people look at that and they go, well, hey, I want to go out to the lakes. I'm like, I can't. And they're like, oh, well, you're no fun. Okay, well, that's cool for you. But I'm gonna look back on this day years from now when I'm at the lake and I don't have to worry about going back home on Monday for a job. And I can go, I am so glad I sacrificed my time, my lifetime, to gain back more time in my life. And, and it's interesting because people, I don't want to say like the gaining back, like you can't, the time is the one thing you can't get more of, but you can buy back what you normally would have, your trajectory would have meant that you would have lost that time in the first place. But yeah, that was all I wanted to add to that, because I think that it's just super important. And I love the way that you put that. I love the way that you talked about it being a decision. I like to, yes, Bridget says you will own the lake. Yes. Yes. Right
there in Fargo. Yeah.
Yeah. Right up here in Fargo, where we have zero lakes.
near Brainerd, maybe.
Yeah. Right. Somewhere in Minnesota, probably.
Hey, you just have the ranch, the hunting ranch up there, not the lake, but the hunting ranch.
Right.
Yeah.
But no,
that's what's cool is you get to decide.
Right.
You mentioned a couple times, like, people say. I don't care what people say. You know what I mean? And it makes me sound like cold and callous, like I'm a jerk or something. There is so few people that get to decide what's important for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to start a war. If your wives watch this, they're going to have to really dig deep and listen to the message here. Don't get mad, okay? Even your spouse does have to decide what's right for you. It's true. They either can disagree or they can agree. They can support you or they don't. And it doesn't change what is in your heart and in your head. Nobody can change that. So you have to hope that you have support, obviously. But I mean, I've seen people that they don't have that support and they make it happen. They turn that naysayer or significant other into a supporter. And for anybody who might be listening to this and that's kind of where you're at, maybe it's just because there's been so many years of down, right? I said I've had ups and downs, maybe there's been too many down years, and so you need to get some up years, and then that significant other will really come around. I'm not sure why that popped into my head real quick, but I felt like I needed to share that real quick. So obviously something there was there, but guys, I think we're past your normal time allotment because I talk too much. So
no, dude, I love this, man.
Yeah, this was fun. We'll have you on again for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's important.
I'll send you my buy link so you can pay for my time next. No, I'm just kidding.
Feel like here's my Calendly to put time on my calendar, but there's a paywall to get there.
Yeah. You know, oh my gosh, don't even get me going on that. Like, yeah. It'll
be a conversation for another day. But,
absolutely.
Well, before we finish up, Kyle, do you have anything else to add, or anything that you want Josh to talk about quickly before we say we're good?
Shoot, I just want to thank you, Josh, for coming on. This was a really fun time. I'm glad you guys finally got a chance to meet here. And I think one of my favorite parts about just business in general, especially this online business, is we get to make these connections, right? And develop these relationships that would have never happened pre-internet, right? And even though we've never met face-to-face, any of us, and many of the people that are watching or that will watch, we've never met face-to-face either, but it's really cool to live in a time where we can have these relationships and make these connections and have those real genuine friendships. Josh, you touched on almost an hour ago, where you get this type of support from people that you've never really even met before.
Strangers.
Yep. Because we're all working towards a common goal, and we have a lot of commonalities. It's easy to root for each other, it's easy to really connect, but it's just really cool. So I really appreciate both your guys' time, but it's fun to connect and just come on and have a blast and talk shop.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to second that. Josh, I do appreciate you coming on here and sharing your knowledge and sharing your mindset and just letting us know who you are as a person. And I feel like that we got a chance to really understand your heart and understand your soul on this call, because like that's something that I think that more people miss out on in terms of, you talk about doing video, right? People need to do more video. But it needs to be purposeful video. It needs to be intentional. It can't just be like, hey guys, there's something about like, yes, the background stuff, like the behind the scenes stuff, but every video can't just be like, hey, I'm changing my son's diaper. Hey, I'm getting my hair done. Hey, I'm getting my nails done. Like we need to have some
like substance,
right?
Actual substance.
And it doesn't have to be like, we're not talking just marketing stuff, but like, what we decided to do with this podcast, Kyle, is like the substance is this is our life. This is what we do. And ideally, we'd like to make this what we do full time. And we'd like to be able to, like Josh, one of the things that Kyle and I talked about, and I think this is something super cool that maybe in the future this might happen, is to make it almost like a Monday through Friday morning show that we get on in the morning and do a morning show and bring people on and whatever and talk about life and talk about things that are happening. And like this be the first thing that people see every morning. Why? Not because we want to be like, hey, look at us, but because there's people out there that need this. There's people out there that need me, that need you, that need Kyle. And if we're not putting our face out there and we're not showing our heart condition and we're not showing exactly what we need, what we have to offer to help these people, it just doesn't do any good.
Right.
And so I thank you for doing that today.
Yeah, no problem, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity. This is typically my videos are pretty short and sweet. So this has given me an opportunity to stretch my legs a little and,
yeah, man.
I guess I would say push me out of my comfort zone. So I appreciate that opportunity. I feel, that's where what is really lacking in today's society is things that push us to grow, that force us to grow and level up. And I'm loving it, man. I definitely appreciate the time spent with you gentlemen, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this live stream. And I would love nothing more than be a future guest again.
Well,
it's our pleasure, brother.
That's all. It's in stone now. Like you're coming back because I can tell you've got more in there that you're like, I want to get that out. And
well, these long forms are so cool in that way, right? Like you just get to talking. It's a real conversation, and you get to kind of an artificial hard stop, and you just want to keep going. But
and what stinks about the downfall of doing like video where I'm literally talking to myself is I don't have anyone to bounce ideas off of. I don't have anyone that's like, well, what about this or what about that? And I'm very intentional, very purposeful in my videos. I usually even, full disclosure, I usually even print out a script that hopefully no one can tell I'm practically reading word for word. But there's times where it's like the message is that important, at least I believe that it's that important, that it's like the delivery of every single word is so important. But because of that, it does lose a little bit of its soul, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
every video is different.
Yeah.
Begin with the end in mind, right? And the end's different for some of these things.
Absolutely. So I have got to run, gentlemen, because I just got a text that my son is actually going to his friend's house today, and she is in the driveway. So
sounds good, man. Yeah.
Well, thanks again, guys.
But yeah, appreciate having you here, and we'll definitely be having you on again in the future. And maybe that time we'll go deeper into a subject and let you just kind of let you shoot for the fences, swing for the fences, whatever they call it. I'm not good with wordisms, I get them all mixed up. But thanks again, Josh. Go do what you
We'll see you, Josh. Have a great Saturday, man.
Guys, take care. Thank you so much.
You guys
Talk
out
soon.
there, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.